as you're doing your mix, whether it's live or studio, mixing is solving problems in a lot of situations. It's also an art and can be artistic, but I think first and foremost, if it wasn't recorded well, your first priority is let's solve some problems. And if it was recorded well, your problem is, well, let's make this, let's mix this, let's make it sound good together.
Well, and that's an interesting thing too. We keep focusing on mixing, and there's so much more that these two things have in common than just mixing. But even assessing problems, I mean, when it comes to troubleshooting, there are a load of different problems that are experienced in the studio that are different than the load of problems that come in live sound. We don't have to deal with RF all over the place in the studio.
Let me just point this one out to you. I feel like a lot of studio engineers kind of are they get their whole thing set up and they've set up all their routing and everything, and it's all in this nice little clean patch bay. And then there's me who's rushing to get a show. I'm throwing a cable across the freaking stage while, and I have to figure out, okay, why are inputs 17 through 32 not working for me right now? Oh my gosh. What am and I have to figure that out. It's very messy. It's dirty.
But that still happens in the studio too. There's always problems. The funny thing is
that just means you're incompetent.
Yeah. No. So there's a,
got him.
We had a little studio tour recently, and, it was a couple weeks ago, and the guy that was showing us the studio and was showing us some studio concepts, he had to just kind of throw things together, and it's set up to be a student studio, but it's really nice. They have an API console. Ooh. And anyway, he had everything routed just fine, and then all of a sudden when we came in, Murphy's Law, what can't go wrong will go wrong, and something happened. Couldn't get sound to the musicians that were in the live room that were supposed to be helping with this demonstration, and then couldn't get sound from one of the mics that was on the guitar on the guitar cab, and so he was like, "What the heck? This was just working," but he made those adjustments on the fly, or. He's like, oh, let me check the cable. Oh, it's not the cable. Okay, it's this channel. Let me do a different channel, and it worked.
It's true, and that's the thing, and that's the similarity is the troubleshooting is following the signal flow, and it's even though the signal flow might go through the air at some point in live sound, or might travel through, hundreds of feet of wall or something like that, or this snake that's getting stepped on by people, in the studio. You're traveling through the wall, or you're doing, and you've still got to follow that signal flow to troubleshoot. But we had that same thing here with this studio. We just got it finished, and we've tested things extensively. So we're like Joe said, it's always set up, and it's just perfect. And it really is really slick. And
exactly.
We have the patch bay, but then we had this lady come in, and she wanted to transfer from cassette to CD, and I have a cassette player, but it's the one thing that I haven't tested yet in the studio, and so it's we're scrambling, and then usually I run it through this mixer to have more gain, but then I turn the mixer on and things are going weird with the power and stuff, and so then I ended up piping it through some line inputs on a preamp, and that worked, but it was scrambling for a while, and then trying to find the right cables and adapters, RCA to quarter-inch adapters, and we had RCA to XLR adapt. Anyways, it's bound to happen no matter how much preparation you do.